MACRA is coming, and it brings with it sweeping change for healthcare providers. The new regulations are especially worrisome for those who may not be ready when implementation hits. For many, the name Matthew Shepard not only calls to mind one of the most horrific murders in modern history, it also represents a tragic but crucial turning point in the battle for equality for the LGBTQ community. It turns out Nolan has a twin brother, Mason, who wasn't in school the day his class received their cabbage plants, so he missed his chance. We're told that next fall they are considering a little friendly brotherly competition to see who can grow the biggest pumpkin. So stay tuned. For MyChamplainValley.com, I'm Beth Jones. For many, the name Matthew Shepard not only calls to mind one of the most horrific murders in modern history, it also represents a tragic but crucial turning point in the battle for equality for the LGBTQ community. This year is the 21st anniversary of the brutal hate crime that ripped Matthew from the world, bringing reflections on how the ripple effect it caused has been felt for generations.
As a country, we were ready to talk about it.
It would have been impossible not to. Matthew Shepard was just 21 years old when he was offered a ride home from a bar by Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson on October 6, 1998. They beat him with the butt of a gun, tied him to a fence on the outskirts of Laramie, Wyoming, and left him. A few days later, Matthew died in a Colorado hospital.
I think it spurred a national conversation about the state of LGBTQ rights in the country. I think when Matthew Shepard was murdered, marriage equality was very slowly passing state by state, and now it's the law of the land. So we see these huge cultural shifts over the 20 years since he's passed.
UVM senior Seth Wade was just 4 years old growing up in rural Illinois when Shepard was murdered, but came to know Matthew's story later when Wade realized he was also gay. He says Shepard's fate was a scar on his own psyche.
That, paired with the area I grew up, really made it so that I was very cautious. To this day, I have a hard time just making eye contact with guys because I'm afraid I kind of get put back into that area of where, oh no, they might think I'm gay, and then the silent voices, oh, that what happened to Matthew Shepard.
Last year, Shepard's ashes were interred at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., where the ashes of notable figures like Helen Keller and Woodrow Wilson also rest. And as the anniversary of Matthew's death looms, so too does the change that his murder brought about, and the work still left to be done.
We're, talking about the national impact that Matthew Shepard had on the conversation about LGBTQ rights as the highest court of the land is debating whether or not it's still whether or not it should be legal for employers to be able to fire folks for being LGBTQ.
I still wish I didn't have that stress and fear that was encoded in me, and I really look forward to it for even more generations not having that. I really hope that continues.
For MyChamplainValley.com, I'm Beth Jones. It's a real-life James and the Giant Peach, except this cabbage wasn't grown by magic.
You had to check on it, water it, make sure it gets plenty of sunshine, and just make sure that it's doing well.
Third grader Nolan Anand was given a small cabbage plant, no bigger than a Brussels sprout, as part of a class competition to see who could grow the biggest. The project was part of a scholarship program from produce company Bonnie Plants called Kids Grow Green, Cashing in Cabbage. Nolan's colossal cabbage ultimately weighed in at 12 pounds, taking top prize.
I was super happy, super excited. It means that I have a really big green thumb.
And not just cabbage green, but a whole other kind. The win came with bragging rights and a $1,000 scholarship towards his college education.
It's great. We're really excited. We're going to put it into his Vermont 529 and, continue growing that as well.
Hopefully that
yes,
gets big as a cabbage.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, what became of Nolan's prize-winning produce?
We made it into corned beef and cabbage.
That must have been a lot of corned beef and cabbage.
It was.
Was it good?
Yes.
We just never imagined that he would win, so it's just really neat, and I think it's going to be just a lifetime memory for him.
It turns out Nolan has a twin brother, Mason, who wasn't in school the day his class received their cabbage plants, so he missed his chance. We're told that next fall they are considering a little friendly brotherly competition to see who can grow the biggest pumpkin. So stay tuned. For MyChamplainValley.com, I'm Beth Jones. They might be the most likable political hopefuls in history. Meet this year's mayoral candidates for the town of Fairhaven. Pet mayor, that is.
What a treat.
It's a packed race that includes incumbent Mayor Lincoln the Goat.
She's fun-loving, loves people, very friendly, very good with children.
Who now faces a slew of equally adorable and civic-minded challengers. There's veteran police canine Sammy.
The kids like her, elderly people like her. She's a well-known celebrity within the community.
Murphy the therapy dog, who was the first to serve the local elementary school's reading program.
They'll put their arms around him, they'll tell him secrets. It's rewarding.
Rounding out the field are one-eyed dog Popeye Wink Jenkins, senior statesman Skitter, Daisy the golden retriever, and Gabriel the cat. Oh, and there's Gumball the gerbil. But unlike most elections, these candidates share a single platform.
All paws on deck for the playground in Fairhaven.
They're raising money to rebuild the local playground. Right now, some parts aren't safe for kids to play on.
The equipment there is over 20 years old. It's seen a lot of use, and we could just use some help updating it.
Though it's not required to cast a ballot, those who show up to vote on Election Day are encouraged to donate to the playground fundraiser. For younger voters, the hope is their first foray into politics will be positive.
So it's an exercise in democracy and voting, and the kids' votes do make a difference. So if they have a favorite candidate, they can vote for that candidate and have a voice in who's going to be the leader of their community.
I think it's great to have the kids involved. I hope they march into the meeting place with their ballots, make a big parade out of it.
And whether Lincoln wins a second term or a new mayor emerges, it's all about reaching their goal. No partisan bickering or mudslinging.
Just a lot of good fun. The way campaigning should be.
Pet Mayor Election Day is less than a month away on March 3rd. The town has a GoFundMe page, and all the proceeds will go to the playground project. They've raised about $10,000 so far, so they've got a ways to go towards their $80,000 goal. You can find that link on our website. For MyChamplainValley.com, I'm Beth Jones.